Remember 1966? These 10 songs dominated the airwaves for a brief moment, then vanished into musical history. These aren't your typical chart toppers. These are the weird, wild, and controversial tracks we've forgotten about and that defined a generation. Jerry Samuels was a struggling songwriter when he recorded this bizarre novelty song in his apartment using just drums and his own deranged vocals.
They're coming to take me away, haha, they're coming to take me away, ho ho.
The track shot to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, making Samuels rich overnight. He performed the song wearing a Napoleon costume, complete with a famous hat, but quickly grew tired of the gimmick. Today, at 88, Samuels lives quietly in New York, still collecting royalties from what he calls that stupid song. Here's what radio stations didn't tell you. Mental health advocates tried to ban the record, claiming it mocked people with serious psychiatric conditions. Several major markets pulled it from rotation after complaints from hospital administrators. The controversy only made it sell faster, proving that in 1966, being offensive was good for business. The Standells were a Los Angeles garage band who had never ever been to Boston when they recorded Dirty Water, their tribute to the city's supposedly polluted Charles River. Producer Ed Cobb wrote the song after reading about Boston's water problems in a newspaper. The band members learned to fake Boston accents for television appearances, and Dick Dodd's growling vocals turned a simple 3-chord progression into a garage rock masterpiece. Today, surviving members still tour occasionally, riding the wave of Boston sports teams using their song as a victory anthem. The Dirty Secret? The song was originally about Los Angeles pollution, not Boston. Cobb changed the lyrics at the last minute because he thought Boston sounded grittier. Meanwhile, the real Charles River was actually cleaner in 1966 than it had been in decades. But environmental facts never stopped a good rock song. Hey friends, if you're enjoying these stories, hit that like button and subscribe, and share this with someone who thinks they know everything about 1960s music. They probably don't know half of what you're about to hear. Richard Tepp was a 19-year-old kid from Newark when he formed Richard and the Young Lions with his high school friends. Open Up Your Door was recorded in a single afternoon session with Tepp's raw vocals carrying a melody that sounded like early Bob Dylan mixed with garage punk. Come on now and open up your door. The track hit number 43 nationally, but became a massive regional hit in the Northeast. Tepp later became a successful insurance salesman in New Jersey and rarely talks about his brief brush with fame, though he still has the original master tapes locked in a safe deposit box. Don Baskin formed the Syndicate of Sound Band while working at a San Jose gas station, and their one hit happened almost by accident. Little Girl was the B-side of their intended single, but radio DJs flipped the record and fell in love with Baskin's haunting vocals and the hypnotic guitar riff.
Hey little girl, you don't have to hide nothing no more.
The track reached number 8 nationally and became a staple of the emerging psychedelic scene. Baskin continued making music into the 1970s, but never quite recaptured the magic. He died in 2006, bitter about the music industry, but proud of his one moment in the sun. The controversy came later when multiple bands claimed they had recorded similar versions first. Legal battles over songwriting credits dragged on for years, with at least 3 different groups claiming they originated the guitar riff. Baskin spent most of his royalties on lawyers, proving that even one-hit wonders weren't immune to the music business's greed. After Wayne Fontana left the group, the Mindbenders needed a hit badly. They found it with this brill-building composition that showcased Eric Stewart's smooth vocals over a deceptively simple arrangement.
You and me got a groovy kind of love.
A Groovy Kind of Love hit number 2 in both the UK and the US, establishing Stewart as a legitimate frontman. He later co-founded 10cc and became one of Britain's most successful producers, working with artists like Paul McCartney. Stewart, now 79, still performs occasionally and considers this his proudest moment outside of 10cc. The song's success created a bitter legal war with Wayne Fontana, who claimed he deserved credit and royalties since he had originally signed the band's recording contract. Fontana sued for years, arguing that the Mindbenders were using his established name and reputation. The courts sided with the band, but Fontana's public attacks turned nasty, including allegations about Stewart's personal life that were never proven but damaged relationships with Manchester's tight music scene. I tell you, we would love it if you just take a second to subscribe if you haven't already. These stories get even more interesting. And please share this video with your friends who lived through this era. The Swingin' Medallions were a beach music band that was playing fraternity parties when they recorded Double Shot, their only national hit in a Charlotte studio. John McElrath's vocals perfectly captured the song's party atmosphere, and the track became a massive hit across the Southeast before it broke nationally. The band continued touring the beach music circuit for decades, becoming legends in the Carolinas even as the rest of America forgot them. McElrath still performs the song at beach music festivals where crowds sing along to every word. Now, the uncomfortable truth about their success involves the segregated music scene of 1966 South Carolina. While Double Shot was climbing the charts, the Swingin' Medallions were playing exclusively white venues and refusing to share bills with black artists, as they even borrowed heavily from African American musical styles. McElrath later expressed regret about those decisions, but the damage to their credibility in the broader music community was irreversible. Dion Jackson was a Detroit soul singer who recorded Love Makes the World Go Round, a smooth ballad for the Small Carla label, never expecting it to become a national hit.
And it makes trees grow tall, and
his silky vocals and the song's sophisticated arrangement helped it reach number 11 on the charts, making Jackson a star overnight. Unfortunately, the success was brief, and Jackson never charted again despite recording for several major labels. He continued performing in Detroit clubs until his passing in 2014, always wondering what might have been if he'd had better management and promotion. Jackson's fall from grace involved a scandal with the wife of a prominent Detroit businessman who was financing his career. When the affair became public, Jackson lost his backing and found himself blacklisted from major venues. The businessman had connections throughout the Michigan music scene, and Jackson's career never recovered from the controversy, regardless of his undeniable talent. Los Braavos, a Spanish band, was the first from their country to have a number 1 hit in multiple countries, including reaching number 4 in America.
Black is black. I want my
Mike Kogel's powerful vocals drove Black is Black's infectious energy, and their success opened doors for other European acts in the American market. The band continued recording throughout the early 1970s, but never matched their initial breakthrough. Kogel later became a successful businessman in Germany, occasionally reuniting with surviving band members for nostalgia tours across Europe. The dark side of their success involved their record label's connections to Francisco Franco's fascist regime in Spain. Los Braavos were required to perform at government events and had their lyrics censored by state officials. When they tried to speak out about political freedom, they were threatened with imprisonment. Their American success became a propaganda tool for the Franco government, something that haunted the band members for the rest of their careers. Count 5 were a group of San Jose teenagers barely out of high school when they recorded this garage rock masterpiece in a tiny studio.
oh, little girl, psychotic reaction. And a big
Psychotic Reaction's fuzz-tone guitar and John Mickey Burns' sneering vocals created a template that influenced punk rock a decade later. Count 5 broke up within 2 years of their hit, victims of typical band politics and drug problems. Burns died young in 1999, but the song's influence on alternative rock cannot be overstated. Surviving members occasionally reunite for garage rock festivals. The psychotic part wasn't just in the title. Burns struggled with serious mental health issues that were exacerbated by the pressures of sudden fame and excessive drug use. His erratic behavior during television appearances and concerts embarrassed the band and their management. When Burns showed up to a Dick Clark show clearly under the influence, it effectively ended their national career and reinforced negative stereotypes about rock musicians. James Barry Kiefer adopted the stage name Keith and recorded this temperature-themed pop song that perfectly captured the era's obsession with catchy hooks and simple concepts.
Good morning, sun, I say it's good to see you shine.
98.6 reached number 6 and established Keith as a teen heartthrob, complete with screaming fans and magazine covers. But Keith's career faded quickly as musical taste changed, and he struggled with the transition from pop star to regular person. He died in 1997, having spent his later years working in construction and rarely discussing his brief moment of fame. Keith's personal life was far more complicated than his clean-cut image suggested. He was secretly married during his peak fame, and his management company went to great lengths to hide his wife and young child from the press and fans. When the truth eventually emerged, it destroyed his teen idol status and revealed the calculated deception behind the music industry's manufactured stars. The stress of maintaining the lie contributed to Keith's eventual retreat from the spotlight. That's 10 songs that ruled the airwaves for a brief moment in 1966. These artists experienced the highest of highs and lowest of lows that the music business could offer, proving that success and failure often walk hand in hand. Please hit that subscribe button if you want more untold stories from music history, and share this video with anyone who loves the real stories behind the songs. There are plenty more forgotten hits with even stranger tales to tell.